Alright, welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Grim Day and I'm joined by the man that we call Peppiatt. Alright, Pip.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm okay. I am okay, but I am not as good as you, because if we jump to the bib cam, look at that. He's got his smoke show on behind him. Neon lights going. He's like, go on, give us the edge that you was doing before we went live, Bib. Go on, give it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more Kurt Angle than anything. It's more Kurt Angle, but...
You suck. But if you're in the stream, good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Hey. We at Ice Cream Uploads, in a true ice creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, we are here for the next hour or so to give you the biggest, the best, and breaking stories from the world of video games. Well, we're not going to give you them. We're going to discuss them. What we are going to give you, though, is our thoughts and impressions on those stories. And we then want your thoughts and impressions. And then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. Let's have a little bit of a discussion. And it's important that we do have that. We go live on Twitch 5 days a week at 10 a.m.-ish. On twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And you guys in the chat get to have that discussion with us. And it's important that you do that because we turn the live streams that we do on Twitch into a podcast, a video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone that watches and listens on demand a little bit later on. Hey, before we do jump into the show, though, let me remind you a couple of things. First things first, ! Loot drop. The time to vote is running out. So if you don't know what the loot drop is, we basically give subscribers prizes. That's the way it is. Subscribers get prizes. One subscriber each month, and it doesn't matter whether you're a tier 1, 2, 3 prime or a gifted sub, could win themselves a prize. And this month's prize is still up for voting. The link in the chat that I've put in there now will take you through to our pinned tweet on Twitter. That tweet has 4 different items for you to vote for. You could either bag yourself some Ice Cream Uploads merch, a copy of NBA 2K22, a copy of Back for Blood, and I always forget one. Yesterday I forgot Back for Blood. What was the other one? Back for Blood?
NBA?
New World. That was it. New World. New World was the other one. So there you go. 4 different things. 3 games and some ICU merch. You go to that tweet. Obviously hit retweet on that tweet just so people know it's there. But then vote on the tweet in response to that one. Because if you don't vote and the prize isn't something that you want, let's say you have a console and New World wins, which isn't on console, then you didn't vote. If you didn't vote, you can't influence the prize, so make sure you get involved. As well as that, ! Shout out to the lovely people at Muscle Moose. Get yourself some snacks, drinks. There you go, it's on screen there. Nice. ! Muscle Moose in the chat will give you a link to not only the Muscle Moose website, that's not a spawn, by the way, although they do provide us with #gifted bits, but there is a discount code that we don't earn anything from. You can just save money on, so do feel free to check that out if you want. Nice. Anyway, babe, last night, did you get up to anything?
Did I? Well, I was laid up on the couch most of the day watching Breaking Bad again for the 4th time. I did play some FIFA last night though.
Thoughts?
I did load it up. We've got the 10 hours early access, and yeah, it's okay. I'm not used to it being as slow as it is. Usually FIFA, it's super fast. Like, yeah, it's 100 miles an hour. I'm trying to get used to it. I know I'm playing foot, and I know this is going to sound like a PES player bashing FIFA, and it genuinely isn't, but I just feel it's a little bit clumsy at the moment. But I think that's something to do with the fact that I'm playing with shit players in my team. Like, everything just feels slightly delayed, like passing the ball.
Like Foden.
Never say that again.
Everyone listening on demand's like, what just happened? Why did it go off?
Never talk about the top shagger like that again. But no, it's kind because you get him on loan. You can choose him to be on loan at the beginning if you want. And then when you do the first level of your battle pass, you get to choose between 3 players. And I chose him again. So I would have had him for 8 games. But yeah, it just feels a little bit laboured in the midfield. But that is probably because I've got Foden in there. I've also got Ward-Prowse, and I can't remember who the other person is. But there's just no pace. I've just got no pace in the midfield whatsoever. It's a little bit laboured, but that's probably what you'd come to expect from a team that's rated like 81. So there's still a long way to go for it. But I'm enjoying what I played. I've lost my first 3 games. Surprise, surprise. And then won 2 back-to-back. So it's just I've got loads of packs to open out. Whenever I go live on stream again with it, I will probably open those packs. I'm just going to keep on saving them. I've been doing SBCs and stuff. I've put no money in whatsoever so far, and I've managed to pack Gareth Bale. Yes, that's right, Gareth Bale, ladies and gentlemen. And he's rated 82, and he's a right
82, yeah.
right midfielder. It's a fucking fall from grace. That I seen it come up. It'll say like right midfielder. Real Madrid, and you're like, oh my god, who's this going to be? And then Bale comes up, and you're like, oh my god, he's going to be 87 rated, and then it comes up 82. You're like, for fuck's sake, he didn't even get a walkout or anything. And then I got Ferran Torres as well, which I was over the moon about, and Ziyech. So I have got some decent players in my team. It's just, yeah, it's the road to glory stuff, and you always have to start off a little bit of shitter, and I'm putting no money into it as well. So it will take me forever to be able to build an half decent team, but
so will you be buying FIFA?
Enjoyment.
Is the 8/10 hours that you're going to have going to be enough? I mean,
Yeah.
the 8 obviously is 8 hours with Phil Foden, or 8 games with Phil Foden anyway. Is that going to be enough, or are you
Yeah.
Are you buying it? Yeah.
Well, I'll be getting it regardless. I mean, the foot is usually one of the things that I'll play for like 3 or 4 weeks. Probably get super bored of it because I don't have the time to put into it like everybody else does, which they then end up then having super teams. I mean, there's super teams out there now because people will either be putting money in or they would have been grinding it out. I mean, for the full 10 hours. But in terms of FIFA, I mean, I just get it for Pro Clubs and Volta anyway. That's why I didn't want to waste that time, the 10 hours that I've got playing Volta, because I know I'm going to play that for more than 10 hours. Same with Pro Clubs. I won't waste those hours that I've got now on those modes that I know I'm going to get 70, 80 hours out of. That's why I'm just putting into Fortnite, seeing if I can actually get into it this time and then do it away. But top tip for you guys, if you are playing FIFA and you do want to do all your trading and that, don't do it in game. Don't waste your hours doing it in game. Go onto the companion app on the website, because it's a limited time on that. So if you want to do your SBCs, you want to do your trading, stuff like that.
Web app stuff's free. Yeah, touche.
Yeah.
GG's.
So do it on that. Don't waste your time in game, because before you know it, 4 hours has gone and you've got 6 hours left to play games, and then you'll spend another 2 hours opening packs after you've completed your 5 games or whatever. So yeah, all your trading, make sure you do it on the web app. Close the game down when you finish it, otherwise it will chew into your time. Some baby top tips for you there.
Yeah, you go. Top tips with Bib. Bib.
Yeah.
Next time I'll fade into big full screen, and then and I'll do like a Jerry Springer sort of theme tune, but from my mouth, not actual music. Just
final thoughts.
Good morning, everyone. If anyone's in the chat, hey, do feel free to drop in and say hello. Myself, last night I was at the foosball. So Bibby was playing foosball. I was at the foosball.
How were the pies, Graham?
Oh, exceptional. I may have had
Best
3.
part of the night, surely.
Yeah, I may have had 3 pies last night. No word of a lie. Yeah, so I went to United, went to the Warwick Suite, which is like obviously corporate hospitality kind of stuff. Really nice. I actually expected it to be sit down 3-course meal, because the last time I went it was that, but it wasn't. It was kind of a mix up between 2 different types of hospitality. So I've had like sit down 3-course meal hospitality before, and I've had like help yourself buffet hospitality. They still come over and bring you like endless drinks, free bar kind of stuff. I was driving, so I only had one. Boo. But it's better in my opinion, because they do nice food there. Like for anyone that was in the Discord, I was sharing pictures this morning. So last time I went and we had the sit down meal, it was nice steak and chips, peppercorn sauce, gravy-ish kind of whatever. It's good. But the pies at Old Trafford are exceptional. The steak and gravy pies are world class, genuinely. Probably not, but they're fucking good. Anyway, yesterday I was like, oh, it's not a sit down meal. Oh, okay. And then I saw the buffet, and then it was like, ha ha, as just the light hit perfectly, and there's just a stack of pies there. I was like, yes, get in my face, not even my belly. I'm not bothered about my belly. Just ram that fecker into my face. So went up, got a pie, made a schoolboy error that was not too bad, to be fair. I put minted lamb gravy on it because there was some sliced lamb stuff there as well. Put the wrong gravy on it, so I had a steak pie with minted lamb gravy, which is meat covered in meat.
I mean, I'd take that.
Yeah,
I'd take that. How many slices of gravy did you have then?
How many slices of gravy? All of the slices. Well, I had a pie with minted lamb gravy, but it wasn't what it was meant to be. So I had to go back then and get another pie covered in beef gravy. And then at full time, came out full time, and there was a fresh stack of pies then. So I was like, oh, go on, I'm gonna have another pie. Although they were chicken and chorizo, not as good as the steak and gravy, but good nonetheless.
Yes.
It was a beautiful pie. Chloe literally, like, we got there and They were just like bringing the food out to the buffet kind of thing, and it was like when you're at a wedding, you wait for someone else to go up to the buffet. Danielle was like, "See,
Yeah.
we've got a cheat card because most people go, I don't know, I'm just gonna wait for let's wait for Janet and Sue or someone, wait for their table to go, and then we'll go." Chloe just does not wait. Time, whatever the phrase, waits for no man. Food waits for no Chloe. She was like, the food's not even ready, so she went up with a plate and just came back with a plate full of bread rolls and butter. Ate about fucking 15 bread rolls, and as soon as the food came out, she was off again. She's tall and thin, is Chloe, but she can put food away. So I'm a proud dad. Yeah, good lass, good lass. So she had bits of curries and everything else. But it was good. It was good. The football. We didn't play too bad. We didn't play exceptional, but we were playing with our second string team. We lost only 1-0. We had like, what was it, like 27 shots or something last night, despite playing with a mediocre team. You could tell we were playing with our second string team. But yeah, it was decent. The best
West
thing
Ham
about
had some good chances to put it beyond you last night, though. The last 5 minutes.
yeah, we were.
Noble missed another sitter. Yarmolenko missed one.
Was it Yarmolenko's off the post kind of thing?
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of expected though. By that point, you've had to throw in some big guns and push forward kind of thing. But yeah, we should have been rolling it a little bit earlier on than that. I mean, it was 67 minutes on the board. I'm sat there going, why is like you've got like Bruno Fernandes sat on the bench. You've got Greenwood sat on the bench. You can't be bringing them on with like 7 minutes to go. Luckily, he started to make the changes a bit after that, so we had a bit more impact. But I think like by 65 minutes, they should have been on, not thinking about bringing them on. But it was decent. The best thing about it, though, was there was a question in the chat from West. He said, how was the game last night? Looked like you had a great seat. Could you change the Sky channel on the tablet in front of you? It wasn't tablets. It was... So we came out of our corporate, like, suite thing, and it was into basically the press seats. So we had like nice cushioned seats, but just in front of us were all the desks that have like 2 monitors installed on every desk, and every monitor is playing Sky Sports. So that's where the press will sit, and there's plugs and stuff for the phones and the laptops and stuff as they're writing the news articles. But one of the things I miss when I'm at a live football match is replays. Like, what was that? And fuck, we'll see it later on. But it was like literally you're watching the football, and then 10 seconds later you see it on Sky Sports on these screens in front of you because the table's in front of us. There's so many tables that there's not enough journalists to fit them. So we just had Sky Sports there on the screen in front. So I was watching the game, then watching the replay, and then back to the game and back to the replay.
Is there a delay?
What, from TV to...
Yeah, so you watching it in real time, because I've never known the difference. Like, if I'm listening to it on the radio, like I used to be one of them guys when I used to go to the stadium, I'd put my radio into my ear so I can hear the commentary and stuff like that, because they see things that you can't see from where you're sat. Like, if you're in the I don't know, if you're in the south stand, you're at the arse end of the stadium at City, you can't see the other side. So I used to sit there with like one earphone in listening to the commentary, and it was like a 2-3 second delay.
It's about 12 seconds to us. I don't know if we got a raw TV feed or if they have something that goes through an internal network, then spaffs it out into the stands. But it was about 12 seconds because I was sat there. I wanted to know, and I'm that kind of loser that I saw like Masuaku taking a throw in like super early on, and as he threw it, it went 1, 2, 3 in my head and counted it, and then it happened on the screen about 12 seconds later, which was decent enough because that meant like you got to watch, say, Mason get through and goal, have a shot, it goes out for a corner or whatever, and then it takes them about 15 seconds to set up for a corner. So that 12 seconds is just enough time for you to see, oh yeah, decent shot, and then back to the game. So yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, I would love to sit there all the time. Not even asked about the hospitality, just having the ability to watch the Sky footage and get all the replays and stuff whilst you're there. Yes, please. Where did we get to? I did see the mood in and around Derby is pretty somber. I don't know how they get through it. I don't know what you mean. What's happening in Derby? I'm out of the loop. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, Bibby, can Drew just check what brand trousers and shoes you're wearing?
They got points to administration, didn't they?
Oh, did they? I've no idea.
Yeah.
This week,
I'm sure they're on like, are they on like -18 now or something?
Really? Wow. See, I had no idea. I mean, I've literally been out of the loop this week. I've been super busy. I don't even know if I've streamed. I did stream. I streamed like 2 hours on Monday evening, kind of thing, because I'm super slammed. But yeah, this last week, apart from actual United playing on the weekend and then United last night, I've literally been out of the football world. So there you go, back in the room. Nice. Not so nice if you're a Derby fan. But baby, what brand trousers and shoes are you wearing?
I've got my pajama bottoms on today, but yes, I do. I've got Adidas everything. Like I'm not a brand snob, but if I was to choose a brand, it would 110% always be
Be
Adidas.
insert
Like,
coin. Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, sorry, yeah, insert coin, obviously, yeah, insert coin, but yeah, Adidas Originals. I know I'm wearing the sports one here. Oh, wrong side. Here, because I'm looking at the camera, it's the wrong way around.
What who's it? Who's it on social media? Like start of the season, someone like kissing the Adidas badge on his shirt or something. There you
Yeah,
go. There you go. Bibby does it on
yeah,
purpose,
but
though.
yeah, Adidas everything.
Tito
Adidas
says
everything.
didn't want to be in it anyway. No, he didn't. There was actually a really good. I'm trying to remember. It was Mickey Thomas. So we had like a bunch of legends in the suite. So we had like Gary Pallister, Brian Robson, Lou McCarry, Mickey Thomas, Arthur Alberston. But Mickey Thomas was doing like post-match sort of speech stuff, and he kind of nailed it. Some people were like, yeah, and he was like, do you know what? It's disappointing to lose, to be out of a cup, but we're not really aiming for that anyway, sort of thing. And it was kind of like the sentiment. So it's one of those that's it's almost like it's like freedom in that sort of thing. While when you're in it, you want it. I need this, and when you're out of it, it's like okay, well, I can brush it off and not focus on it. But when you're in it, you got to keep going for it. But now you're out of it, okay, it's fine. Everyone wants to win it, but everyone's also it's that weird thing when you're in it and someone else is when you're out of it and someone else is in it. It's like yeah, of course that's what you'd say because you're not in it, and then they get knocked out. And it's like yeah, we didn't want it anyway. So yeah. I mean, only City cared
You
about it.
get put into Europe still.
I don't actually know. I don't know. They changed the qualifications for
It's
Europe
Europa
so
League,
often.
didn't you?
Ish. I
But
don't.
they've got the Europa Conference as well now, haven't they? So because City was already in the Champions League, and we've won it for the last 4 years, humble brag. The people who was running up ended up going into it as well. Like they would take the position instead, but because I don't even know what the Europa Conference is, it just feels like another money making thing. I know this is a video game podcast and we're spending more time talking about football, but what the fuck is the Europa Conference? Like, I know, is it the one below Europa League that like teams in 10th can go into?
Yes.
Well, why? It makes no sense. Like, City got into the Europa League once. I think it was like 2007 through fair play because we had the least amount of yellow cards in the Premier League. Like, it just you haven't earned that. Like, because you didn't get bookings, you got into a competition. It's nonsensical.
Yeah,
Football's on its
your
ass.
players don't have the drive to go in for a tackle, so we'll put you in Europe.
Yeah. I think all the liver was for Joey Barton as well.
Were replays not on the Old Trafford big screen? Oh wait, the Glazers too tight to put one in. I know that's one of the most frustrating things in the world. I remember going to my first live football match, and obviously being used to watching like Match of the Days, BBCs, and whatever. And you see the goal, and then you see the replay, and then you see the replays. I remember my first football match. I saw the goal and I was like staring at the football, expecting to see another angle. And it's like, that's not how real life works, Graham. There's literally people. They're not going to roll it back and do it again just to show you. So I was like, oh, can't see it. But yeah. United, no screen. Fucking. I don't think they could show replays on the big screen because of controversial decisions. Yeah, I don't know where that sits. Like,
That happened.
In terms of
Happened many times. It happened once at City. A goal got disallowed. It wasn't the Sterling Champions League one, even though I want to say that one. But a goal got disallowed for offside when it wasn't. But they're showing the replay on the screen, and the stadium went crazy. It happened in a World Cup or a European Championship as well, where they'd shown a controversial decision on the screen, and it ended up being like fucking riots in the stands. They're not allowed to show it now unless it's a goal that's been confirmed, or if it's a controversial goal, they don't even show it.
Which I get, I understand, but I'm thinking, oh, we don't want to show it because we'll show people that it was wrong. Well, get it right. You've got fucking video assistant referees now. Surely you should be getting it right if someone else is watching it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Derby administration lost 12 points. I did not know. There you go. Drew was sat next to someone in Adidas, Nike, and Puma earlier today. Wow, Brandsman.
I think my OCD would go through the roof with that.
Yeah, that's not. I like to try and like solidify what I'm wearing. So I bought a pair of counterfeit Nike Air Jordans, nice, but wanted some socks to stick out the top of them, and everywhere I could see was Adidas socks. So I was like, nope, I refused to buy it until I went until I eventually found a pair of Nike socks. I actually ended up finding a pair of Jordan socks. It was worth the wait, but yeah, so I've got official socks, fake trainers. That's what it's about. Yeah, Salford life, baby.
It's all about £16.
You are.
They cost you all of about £16.
Exactly. Anyway, let's jump into the news. That's enough about chat about socks and stuff. I mean, you can wear Adidas, Nike, and Puma if you want. You want to see the world, Ben. It's like drinking Coke out of a Pepsi glass. You don't do that shit. No. Or Pepsi out of Coke glass, whatever way.
Don't worry if you're watching this on VOD. We have been putting timestamps on there so you can skip forward. Don't worry about it.
No, I mean, they all want to talk about the football for half an hour before we get into it. We do actually have some good stories as well. So this spending 20 minutes chatting with you guys is nice, but we don't have time for you. Get out of it. I'm joking. It's nice, but we do have some good stuff to talk through. So the stories that we have today, you may have seen it on social media. We're leading with the fact that Apple has blacklisted Fortnite until its legal battle with Epic is completed. So obviously, Epic won some bits, Apple won some bits. Apple won the majority of stuff in the court case. We covered this last week or the week before, but Epic won some big old bits. And Apple responded by just putting the world to rights and making it. Nope, they just blacklisted them. We'll go through that as our main story. We'll then follow that up with the fact that tonight, 11 p.m. UK time, there will be a Nintendo Direct. Pretty late. And only announced yesterday, but there will be a 40-minute presentation from Nintendo Direct tonight, 11 p.m. UK time. We'll give you the details. If you're a Titanfall fan, which I know Ben is because I was saying Ben fan ban. So if you're a Titanfall fan, like I know Ben from Next Gen Base is, someone want to type exclamation mark 3D in the chat, do it. Well, Respawn offers Titanfall fans some hope for more Titanfall games. You may have seen from our last few watch-alongs that's the number one thing that Ben has been looking forward to, and it's just not coming. This article actually contradicts one that I did see. I think it was a Eurogamer article. Says they offered some hope and then snatched it away right again. I've not actually read through this article, so we'll go through that and see what it says, and then we'll wrap up with the fact that Far Cry 6 trades ray tracing for 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox Series X. We'll give you those details as we run through them. But Bibby, you looking forward to playing Fortnite on your phone again?
Well, yeah, I can because I'm on Android.
Well, I fucking can't, as this article says. Tom Ivan at VGC says Apple has blacklisted Fortnite until its legal battle with Epic is completed. Epic says it's ready to abide by Apple's rules, but the iPhone maker isn't playing ball. Apple has said it won't consider letting Fortnite back on the App Store until its legal battle with Epic Games is complete, which might not be for several years. Epic recently confirmed it was launching an appeal against the decision in its antitrust lawsuit against Apple, which saw the judge rule against the Fortnite maker in 9 of the 10 counts it had brought against the iPhone firm. The legal battle began in August 2020 after Epic moved to circumvent Apple's platform fees with a new direct payment option in Fortnite, leading to the game's removal from the App Store and the termination of Epic's developer account. Following the recent court ruling, Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney wrote to Apple asking it to reactivate the company's Fortnite developer account and promising to, quote, adhere to Apple's guidelines whenever and wherever we release products on Apple platforms. In the only ruling Epic succeeded in, beginning December 9th, Apple will no longer be allowed to restrict developers from including links or buttons that point users to external payment options where they can pay for services without Apple taking a cut. Should Apple comply with the ruling, Sweeney said Epic would resubmit Fortnite to the App Store. But in its response, which was shared online by Sweeney, Apple said it had declined to reinstate Epic's developer account and, quote, will not consider any further requests for reinstatement until the district court's judgment becomes final and non-appellable. Non-appealable. I was kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, non-appellable. What does that mean? Does that mean they can't do stuff? Anyway, non-appealable. There we go. Sweeney tweeted on Wednesday, late last night, Apple informed Epic that Fortnite will be blacklisted from the ecosystem until the exhaustion of all court appeals, which could last as long as a 5-year process. Apple lied, he added. Apple spent a year telling the world, the court and the press they'd welcome Epic's return to the App Store if they agreed to play by the same rules as everyone else. Epic agreed, and now Apple has reneged in another abuse of its monopoly power over 1 billion users. Epic's opening brief in its appeal is due on December 12th, and Apple's reply is due by January the 20th, 2022, Reuters reports. Interesting. 5 years, potentially, of elevating through the American legal systems to Supreme Court or whatever the top tier is. I can never remember. I mean, that's a game's life cycle and then some. I mean, not so much with Fortnite. Fortnite has done a good chunk of that already in itself. Most games don't have a 5-year shelf life anyway. Fortnite is a little bit different. But 5 years being restricted from putting your game in front of 1 billion users is a long old time. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, it's when Epic went into this battle in the first place, they said that there was fighting for everybody else's usage and the power that they have. And if anything's come out of this, we mentioned it obviously when it got brought through that they had to pay £12 million. But that's money that they find at the back of the chair. Like they will be making billions eventually through how many people will play this on iOS devices. I mean, it's billions is a bit of a stretch, but millions, they'll get their money back, no problems at all. But only if they're on the app, only if they're on the app store. If they're not on the app store, you can't make any money. So yeah, they have gone into bat for other people as well as themselves. Let's not be naive in thinking that they've done this for everybody else. They've done this for themselves, and then everybody else is a byproduct of what they have paid for in court. But ultimately, they can't make money if they aren't front and center, and they are front and center. And 5 years is a hell of a long time for any game to be away from the public's eye, especially one as big as Fortnite. 5 year. Do you think in 5 years' time Fortnite will still be around? I think it will. I think there'll be a lot of other games that are competing with it by that point in time. Will it still be the juggernaut it is now? Maybe not. I mean, I won't put it past them because they are 4 or 5 years strong now, and it's still going. So yeah, it's interesting that Apple are still going to block them. They're well within the right to do so because let's be honest, they just dragged them through court and their name for the last 2 years. So this is it's come to be expected, but Epic can't have it their own way every time. And this is definitely one of those things where you're thinking, was it worth it? For everybody else, absolutely, because they've removed the middleman now. If you need to contact the developer or the publisher, you don't have to speak to Apple anymore. You can go directly to the people who've put that front and center for you. Massive win for everybody else, not so much for Epic. But yeah, it's 5 years is a long time. I think this will be done well before them.
Yeah, I think it will be as well. I mean, I still think Fortnite will be around in 5 years if Epic keeps to its, how can I put it? Its strategy of not really being about the game anymore. Fortnite, there's a word that's obviously gets used in everything at the moment because it's a super fashionable thing. But the multiverse, I mean, whether it's a Spider-Man or a whatever, Fortnite has its own multiverse. It's gaming, it's music, it's technology, it's clothing, it's fashion, it's whatever, all in one space. It's social, it's building, and if they keep building with that multiverse element, Fortnite will still be huge in 5 years' time. It may not be gameplay first anymore, but it hasn't really been that for a lot of people for the last 18 months anyway. Fortnite, some people will not play the game anymore because I used to play Fortnite, but now I come back in when it's the end of season event or when it's the Ariana Grande concert or whatever. That's what brings people back in. For a lot of people, it's not about the game anymore, so I can still see them being big, if not bigger than they are right now in 5 years' time. Maybe not where they were 2 years ago in terms of everything Fortnite, kids flossing at weddings and stuff like that. Well, 3 years ago, because 2 years ago was COVID-ish sort of period. But yeah, maybe not to that level. But I still see them being massive. But I do see this being sorted before then. That said, it depends on how rigid they are. We called that this would have been settled out of court before it got to the judge's decisions. We thought, okay, they'll make a deal. Someone will pay something. Someone will something. Someone will whatever. Epic fighting for the good fight for the people, but they'll take a backhander and it'll be fine. Whatever. Fair play to Epic. They didn't do that. They went to court and yeah, we've got some sort of resolution. But there isn't. There's like 5 levels of courts in America that you progress through, and each one takes 6 months for you to submit your case, and then you have to wait the judges 3 months to review it, and then you've got appeals to those decisions before you take it to the next courts, and I don't know. If anyone's watched Making a Murderer, I think it was called. You see. I mean, this is obviously not that sort of court case, but it's a similar sort of process in terms of escalating it and progressing through the systems. I actually feel for Epic. I kind of I kind of agreed with Epic, but also agreed with people saying, well, it's Apple. It's their system. They've made it. You've signed a contract. It is what it is. I agreed with people's point of that in terms of I understood it, but I didn't necessarily agree in terms of I thought there was a good chance that because of the antitrust, anti-competition, because of the size of Apple, they've basically become so successful that their success isn't just a measure of their wealth and success. Their success is something that can dampen other people's success. They can control how successful other people can be, which is essentially what the courts ruled in favor of in terms of, okay, well, you can't have unnecessary restrictions. You need to allow people to do their own stuff outside of your system as well as your system. So I agree with that ruling. I'm happy to see that. I would have liked this to just gone then. Okay, fine. You have your little complaints. Take it, whatever. I do feel that this is petty from Apple, though, going, well, do you know what? We don't want you on our system. Because why not? It's just, because we're waiting for everything to be sorted. It's like, just crack on. You are opening up paywalls that you'd put in place so that people can break down those paywalls and take money from their own revenue streams, be that through their own website, through their own apps or whatever. You're doing that for anyone anyway because you've been forced to do that by December the 9th. Why not just do that for Fortnite now? Because, I mean, forgetting Epic and Apple and all of that sort of stuff, there are thousands, if not millions of kids, and I say kids because it's just the phrase that comes to mind for Fortnite, but adults as well that probably only had the ability to play Fortnite on a smartphone or an iOS device, a tablet, that can't play that game and won't play that game. And that's the thing that you always get lost in the numbers and what it's worth and the value and stuff. I mean, I'm the same. But it is sad that there's people out there that just can't play this game because Apple now have gone, no, we're gonna sit and wait on it.
It's mental, isn't it? You can't play it on an iPad or an iPhone that costs twice as much as an Android device.
Yeah,
like a parent can go out now and buy an Android tablet for £99 and be able to play Fortnite, but you can't play it on a £500 iPad. It's crazy.
It's sad in that sort of sense. Some people will have imagine if you were. But you don't even need to be in a less economically developed country. You could be in the UK. A lot of people can't afford iPads. It's just fact. So imagine if someone saved up, worked their asses off, got themselves or their kid or whatever an iPad for Christmas, so that kid can then play Fortnite with all of their mates, and then 3 months later it gets pulled from the App Store, and it's like, well, I broke my back for that entire year for feck all. And it is a bit crap. There is, I want to say, hidden victims. They're not the front and center, but they get lost behind Apple and Epic in the court case sort of situations. We're getting somewhere. I know we're not somewhere entirely, but just for now, we have a legal ruling for now. Yes, it could be overturned in appeals and stuff, but keeping all of those players of games like in limbo for 5 years while it gets held through different levels of courts, I feel that's a shit decision. Just to go, okay, fine, we'll put the game back on and you can have the payments through the system from the 9th of December. If that gets overturned in 12 months' time, turn it back off again. Just think about, won't somebody think about the children? So yeah, that's what kind of is what it's for me. I want to see changes to Apple to make it a little bit better for developers, smaller developers that don't have to get strung by very expensive systems. That said, I do like what Apple's system is and how big it is and how much potential exposure you can get off the back of it. But it's willy waving now. It's like, mine's bigger than yours. No, well, I'm gonna not put you on the store because you've got the thing, and it's just stop, just stop, and let people carry on, please. Thank you. Madge says, non-applicable. Yes, that's what it was, non-applicable. In 5 years' time, the Epic Store might be making a profit. So there's that to look forward to for Epic. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the projections, that was the word I don't even know where I got legal from. The projections that we had from an article about 6 months ago were saying they see it more like 7 to 10 years. Epic, was it Epic 3 to 5 years they think it's going to be profitable? Yeah, we'll see. But then again, if you can't,
not to keep on spending that much on free games every month.
But that's
every
it.
Week,
I mean, if you can't get Fortnite on your smartphone, but you can do browser-based stuff, and browser technology is becoming better. Could we see an Epic launcher running Fortnite in browser with payment systems that you can play through smartphones. So maybe it will be on a smartphone in less than 5 years without Apple having any opportunity to stop that stuff. Potentially. And if that is the case, then they would run that through the Epic Games Store, and the Epic Games Store could be profitable just by having Fortnite as its smartphone provider. You never know. NXS, to be fair, you see a lot of alphas and betas come out on Android only first because of Apple's strict policy, like Final Fantasy VII First Soldier. Sad face. I'd rather wait for my PC version of games to come out on Steam than buy it on Epic Kappa. See, I'm not a Steam fan, not an Epic fan. I'm PC ambiguous. Like I say, like I am with consoles. I mean, I am more aligned with PlayStation. He says wearing a PlayStation hoodie, obviously. But I am more aligned with PlayStation, but I'm still console ambiguous. Whereas PC, I don't. I have preference to Steam because I've used it a bit more, but I also have Epic installed and have more games in my Epic Games library than I do in my Steam library. So I'm not fussed. I'm not fussed. Anyway, let's move ahead. So that was the fact that Apple has blacklisted Fortnite until the legal battle has completed. Do you know what? If you want to play games on the go, though, if you want to play Fortnite on a mobile device, well, one thing you could do is play it on the Switch. And if you think, I'm not buying a Switch just for Fortnite, well, do you know what? That's not all there is. As Chris Scullion at VGC has this article, tonight there will be a Nintendo Direct broadcast. It's a 40-minute presentation that will focus on games releasing this winter. So if you're after a Switch for Christmas, there's new things coming. So Nintendo is to hold a Nintendo Direct broadcast on Thursday, September the 23rd, kicking off at 3 p.m. PT, which is 6 p.m. ET. And if you don't know what that means, it's 11 p.m. for us in the UK, 11 p.m. BST. Yeah. The presentation will last 40 minutes and will be focused mainly on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter. Notice it used the word mainly. Does that mean some stuff? There might be some big announcements. So the new Direct will likely include a new controller after a US government listing suggested one would be revealed this week. Earlier this month, Nintendo's request for a confidentiality agreement was submitted and listed on the FCC website for an item simply described as game controller. The initial documents listed on the website had suggested that all photos of the unrevealed controller, its manual, its block diagram, and its schematics would be kept secret for up to 6 months. However, on Tuesday, new filings appeared on the FCC website stating that short-term confidential information related to the peripheral, such as images and diagrams, will be made available this Friday, September the 24th. The last full Nintendo Direct presentation took place during E3 2021. It wasn't great, and in June revealed a number of new games. Most notable of these was Metroid Dread, the first mainline 2D entry in 19 years, which will end a story arc that began in the 80s. Nintendo also revealed a new Advance Wars title, which will make the original story from the Game Boy Advance, as well as WarioWare Get It Together. The Direct concluded with the first look at Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 since its announcement 2 years ago. The sequel will feature an expanded world, Nintendo said, and is targeting a release in 2022. Honestly, we're talking about Nintendo Direct, we're talking about the Switch, we're talking about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and there is no ads in the chat. Ads as in the person, not advertisements, by the way.
Confirmed.
Yeah, exactly. Are you ready for a Nintendo Direct, Pip?
I am. Not at 11 o'clock at night. I'll probably, to be fair, I probably will still be up. But yeah, I am. I think I covered something like this on Friday. Was that? It was when you wasn't here. Well, yeah, it was Friday. Yeah, because we were too busy winning awards. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, last Friday I actually talked about this because there was some data mining and some stuff that's been put on on websites for people to buy, and one of them was a Nintendo 64 controller, because there was rumors that the Nintendo 64 was coming to the Switch Online service, and also that some games may be getting ported over. It was one of the two, and it's not because I don't remember the article, it's because that's what the rumors were, that there was something in the background that may mean that Nintendo 64 games was coming to like the SNES and the NES Switch Online service, or they could start to port over the games like Zelda or Mario 64, or those types of games that you will actually need the controller for, because there's more buttons on them controllers than you do on normal modern day controllers. So yeah, I think the controller is going to be the N64 one. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what's actually going to be shown at this Nintendo Direct. Like, but I imagine we're probably going to see something very brief from Breath of the Wild 2. Is there a new Mario Kart on the way? Like, is it just an indie direct? I don't think it is. It says games that are coming out this fall, which it goes into February next year, maybe March. I'm not too sure. I know it's obviously if you split them up into quarters, then it's the last quarter of this year. But in terms of seasons, it may go into next year. So if it's fall, it could be up to February next year.
Well, it
I don't know.
says winter. So winter.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Sorry, winter, not fall.
is that. I can never remember the spread of the months. Obviously, it includes December, but is it November, December,
Yeah.
January, or is it December, January, February? I can never.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I would just assume it goes up to February next year, and then spring. Yeah, I mean, spring actually might be in February. I genuinely have no idea. This is school. This is literally like year 2 shit, and we're both struggling.
Yeah, see, I remember being taught it like super basic at school. Like January, February, March was spring. Then it was like spring, summer, autumn, winter across the year, which would mean that like the last 3 months of the year, October, November, December, are winter. But October has some incredibly hot things in it. So I think it's actually like. I think what my school told me versus what's actually considered as winter is different, but I don't remember. But yeah, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
October's
Either way,
propus redunculus.
it's mental. Yeah. I can't wait to see what's coming of it because I mean, there has been some. I don't want to say shocking Nintendo directs. I mean, you could split them out because they'll have a
Say it.
Pokemon direct, they'll have an indie direct, they'll
Say
have a what's coming. No, I'll never say. I'll never say. Even if the only conference I have ever fucking hated, and I won't even say its name because you all know what it is.
Sounds like Shmee
I will
Shmoo.
never.
Shmee Shmee Shmoo.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've ever hated. But you find that these conferences, there's always something for someone. And a lot of people may only play AAA games, but there's a lot more people out there that are playing indie games nowadays. So you can never say that this conference is going to be bad because even in that one standout game from a particular conference makes the conference worthwhile.
I mean,
So I'm interested to see what's going to be in this one.
I agree. I do agree. But I do stand by the fact that I also hated it. So I don't hate any of their conferences, but I also hated their conference, but not their conference. I hated Nintendo's approach to that. So the issue with the E3 one that I keep criticizing it for is it wasn't the greatest or strongest conference. It wasn't bad. If you're into whatever games were featured in it, it would be a good conference for you. My issue was from a content creation perspective in the fact that minutes before it was due to go live, Nintendo was like, "Oh yeah, you can co-stream it, by the way." Unlucky. Unless you're one of the few approved streamers that are on the list for co-streaming it, then no, you can talk about it, but you can't show video content until we've actually got it out as a video. If you show live content, then yeah, you're getting banned.
Yeah. Horrendous.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Not denying that.
So that could be the case tonight. I mean, it's 11 p.m. We had no plans to be covering any directs anyway, but the fact that it's 11 p.m. and the fact that at 10:45 Nintendo may go, also you can live stream this, so we aren't going to be live streaming this tonight, just because we don't want to get set for it and then you guys to have to watch us and then a different stream separately. It's nice and we appreciate the fact that a lot of you guys did that with us in June. It's not great having two people on the screen at once, particularly if you're watching on a mobile device. A lot of people can't even do that, so we didn't want to we don't want to put ourselves in that position again. If Nintendo make it so that you can't do a live watch along, you can do a watch alongside, then it's not the same. So we won't, but I mean, hopefully there's some good stuff in it though. I mean, obviously we've got potential hardware ads with hashtag Switch Pro confirmed, no doubt. So we'll probably get some more mentions of the LED version of the Switch. We'll probably, obviously, we mentioned Breath of the Wild. I am kind of intrigued to see what they bring because they have positioned themselves exceptionally well as a family device. Anyone can play on this game. I don't feel like there's enough games for me on it. So obviously we've got Fortnite, which we've spoken about. We've got Doom on it, both exceptional games. But beyond that, there's no like whether it's a big single player game or whether it's an FPS or whatever. Get COD Mobile, throw that on it. Get PUBG Mobile, throw that on it.
I agree with that.
And then it starts to speak to me. But I am intrigued to see where they go. Is it going to be more family stuff? Will we have more big name titles? Could we see the ZeniMax, Bethesda sort of stuff carry on beyond Doom with early announcements of other stuff? I don't know.
I already know what's going to be there. I already know what's coming, Graham.
What's that?
Skyrim Special Edition. They're gonna repurpose it for it. But I mean, yeah, like I say, there's. I reckon that. I mean, I love my Switch. I love playing my Switch. The games that I never thought I would be able to play on the go, the likes of PGA, the likes of NBA or WWE or games like that. Some of them may work better than others, may not work better than others. But having the ability to be able to play those games as you go along, but not having things like PUBG Mobile, not having things like COD Mobile, that games that you think it would be so easy to port over to a console like this and have the ability to be able to play. I mean, PUBG Mobile has got a bigger player base now than it does across any console and PC. So why would you not have that market open to be able to play it? Maybe not cross-play, but having it as a standalone version on that game, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I think we're probably going to see something from Genshin Impact. It was meant to come, I think, in April to the console, but they were struggling trying to optimize it and have it run so that it doesn't blow up your Nintendo Switch. Maybe we'll maybe see something of that, and maybe we'll see something from Mario, something Zelda-ish, like the games that you'd expect to see, or an update on games that you have coming out. Like, is it Metro Dread? Is that the one that's coming out soon? I can't remember. Metroid, not Metro. Metroid Dread.
He did mention
So
it.
yeah,
Yes.
we've got a couple of games that are potential. It will be. I think it'll be a nice
Metroid Dread, yeah.
conference. Yeah, it'll be a nice conference, I think.
Yeah, and a nice 40-minute conference as well. I mean, Nintendo do tend to stack their conferences as well with good content. They do have some developer stuff and some crazy stuff. Nothing to the point of having a trebuchet talking about Age of Empires, Xbox. Why do this? So it should be a decent enough conference. We'll bring you all of the recap tomorrow morning anyway with a scoop, so don't worry about that. If you can stick around in Nintendo's stream / YouTube channel / maybe not other people's YouTube channel because / no watch-alongs or whatever, then we will have you all of the news tomorrow morning because we'll bring you the recap. Whatever it is, we'll bring it anyway. Okay, question, Bib.
Yes, go on. Hit me with it.
Do you think that Nintendo Direct conference could feature any Respawn games? Maybe Titanfall on Switch?
I'm going to say yes for the sake of Ben.
Yes, but probably no. The reason I asked that question, though, obviously, you guys know we like a tedious link. Tom Ivan at VGC has the next article, which says Respawn offers fans some hope for more Titanfall games. Actually, let me stop just there for a second and say, Stinkfish, thank you very much for the follow. That did come through a few minutes ago while we were in mid-conversation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me jump back through the chat
as well.
Because I haven't caught up with everything. There we go. I'll rate Eric's. It says, yo. Actually, I've gone past that one. Madge asks, but that couldn't happen because Apple removed Epic's developer license. Well, it depends. So if that question was in response to me seeing the game could hit iPhones before the 5 years is up, running through a browser, that is not anything that they need a dev license for Apple devices, because if they're developing it for browser, you can launch it in browser. It's just how that browser computes it, I think. I don't think you need a dev license for it as such. I could be wrong. I was pretty sure that if it's running in browser, you can develop it for a browser, and it's all run through the browser, rather than needing access to SDKs for the App Store and the actual something to be installed on the phone. I don't know. Could be wrong. Tito says Switch Pro announced for March 2022. Tito, is that ads? And it says Broth of the World 2. There you go. Mad saying, why don't they just use UTC times on events? I'll tell you why. America, fuck yeah. That's why. Do we tell the world what UTC is? What everyone understands? No. It's like the World Series of baseball in America. So yeah. I mean, to be fair, that works really well for us as well because UTC is same time as London. So yeah. Why don't you use UTC, mate? Waiting for the tech test download, like Angry Enix. Are we talking Halo? Have you been accepted? Do you have it? Did you get an email? I did sign up to the Insider program, but I haven't actually checked my emails since then, just to see if it would add me in. But if you did, GG's, mate. Zeldonk says Enix, followed by October's proper redonkers. Someone check on Enix this morning. Diablo 2 tomorrow. Decide to get it. A PlayStation or Xbox. So you're not selling your PlayStation? I thought you were selling your PlayStation. I have no update on whether that dude wanted to buy that PlayStation off you, by the way.
I really want Diablo. And not that I've got time to play it.
Where where do we get to it? There we go. David says December, January, February are winter in non-astrological months. I don't know if that's the same as business year months. Yeah, business can once again, it's different. Business, some will do first quarter as calendar year. January, February, March is first quarter. Some will do first quarter tax year, so April, June, July kind of thing. It depends. There's so many different ways of looking at things. Yeah. I think players would just like to be able to play Titanfall games they own. Have you heard about the hacking issue on Titanfall? Yeah, hacking to promote the fact that they want the games to be looked at. If that's what you mean. We had an article on this a few months back, just before E3 actually, when we had Ben on, and we revisited that article whilst talking about that as well. Basically, someone has flooded Titanfall servers with bots, meaning players cannot get in. Is it that one? Is that the one that it is? They were doing it to draw awareness to the fact that they weren't updating or fixing the games or porting the games properly or something along those lines. It's been a few months since we read it, but yeah, if that is, then yeah. I have it, but it doesn't tell you if it's PC or Xbox. Seeing how bad they've done Ollie in FIFA 22, played it last night and couldn't stop laughing. I haven't. No, have you got a picture? I mean, to be fair, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at certain angles and when he pulls certain faces looks like Andy Serkis to me. And if you don't know Andy Serkis, he's the guy that plays Gollum. So it's quite possible, quite easy to stretch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Gollum Gunnar Solskjaer. So, yeah. Took a screenshot, but not one from my Xbox yet. Okay, well, send it to me when you do. Yeah, it's got a whole load more complex since then. The collective who admitted responsibility then had a rogue member who went malicious. See, that's when you just feck shit up. It's like when you get protests and people like suddenly start smashing cars up or whatever. It's like your peaceful protest has just lost all its meaning now, mate. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. Let's get back into this one. The Respawn offers fans some hope for more Titanfall games. Quote, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA, the studio says. Once again, this is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Respawn has offered fans a glimmer of hope regarding the possibility of new Titanfall games. The company tweeted on Wednesday to say the series, quote, is the very core of our DNA, likely in response to statements made by studio community coordinator Jason Garza during a recent live stream. Asked for comments on Titanfall during the stream earlier this week, Garza didn't have positive news for the fans of the FPS series. Quote, don't get your hopes up, man, he said. I've said this before. We don't have anything in the works. There's nothing. There's nothing there. We've got too many other games in the works right now. After his comments were picked up by various media outlets, Respawn released a less gloomy, although still non-committal statement on the future of the series. Contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA, it said. Who knows what the future holds? Partly due to a tough launch window that saw it compete directly with both Call of Duty and Battlefield games, Titanfall 2 sold well, but not as well as Respawn would have liked, the studio said back in 2017. In 2019, Respawn said it had pushed back plans for the new Titanfall games so that it could focus on supporting Apex Legends following the game's explosive growth. And given the continued success of the Battle Royale game, EA CFO Blake Jorgensen implied in October 2019 that Respawn was unlikely to return to Titanfall in the near future. Quote, we really want to keep the team hyper-focused on Apex because we're seeing there's so much opportunity there. So I can't give you a sense of if and when Titanfall 3 will come, but it's still a great brand and we certainly won't forget about it down the road, he said. And then we get stats about Apex Legends doing pretty well. That's fine. Okay, whatever. So yes, community, where was the name? Where was his title? Community coordinator Jason Garza was, in my opinion, from not seeing this and just reading this article, was basically just saying, we're not doing anything right now. And then it kind of blew up. That guy's probably had a shit week. So Jason Garza, I feel it. I've been in that situation myself before. But what are your thoughts, Bib? Is Titanfall dead? Is it coming back? Is this just a storm in a teacup? What are you saying?
Yeah. I think it's difficult to judge, especially from someone who's potentially not played Titanfall, but I know of how popular it actually is. There's various people that are around us that claim that it is the best first-person shooter there has ever been as a franchise. So when you're competing, I don't even want to say competing. Yeah, essentially, you probably are. You are competing against your same company for a game that's in a completely different genre in Apex Legends. That's making the money hand over fist. Do you take people away from that money pit and put them back into Titanfall to create Titanfall 3? It's a very difficult decision for them to be able to do, and it wouldn't surprise me if they actually hired more people to work on this game specifically. But will it be as good as the previous games because the people who made that game what it is now working on Apex Legends? Like it's a very difficult position for them to be in to create this game in the first place if it was to go ahead. But I think if there was to make a new one, it might be the last rodeo. It might be the last ride for them to go out, depending on how well it does. They say never. Is that because they're already working on it? None of us genuinely have a clue. Unless you've got an insider knowledge, then none of us have a clue. But for me, from the outside looking in, I find it very difficult for them to be able to go back to it because of how well Apex Legends is doing for them.
No, I agree. I agree. It's kind of like what they say, bird in a hand worth two in a bush. Yeah, Titanfall was big, and then it wasn't quite as big as we wanted, but it still got a lot of potential. It could be big, but Apex is big. So do we give up now to bring that? And that's kind of where you try to be diversified in football games, in video game development. It's a case of you want to be able to work on one project now and then work on another project elsewhere, which is why EA has so many different studios, so they can work on FIFA and they can work on Apex and they can work on Battlefield and they can work on Star Wars and they can. But when you've got one studio that works on two exceptional titles, it's difficult to work on two things simultaneously at such a high AAA level. That's why Call of Duty has 3 different studios making Call of Duty games, with a different one taking it every year. You have a great year with Infinity Ward and Modern Warfare. Great. Well, that's it. You've got to sit off it now for 2 years while we get Raven or Sledgehammer or whoever in to start working on the content, or Treyarch, before we get back to Infinity Ward again. So... yeah, I understand it. I understand it. It's difficult. It is difficult. I mean, I'm not a Titanfall person, so it doesn't fuss me that much. I would much rather play Apex, which I'm probably not going to play anyway. So, okay, it's fine. But, yeah, for me, this is a storm in a teacup. This is some guy... I just quickly Googled it to see what it was like. And he was basically sat like we are now. He was talking casually off the cuff on a stream. And I didn't have the full context of it. I just saw like a 3 seconds of a clip on Twitter to get the idea of what it was. So I don't know whether he was in someone else's live stream, whether he was streaming on his own or what. But that seems to me like, are you working on Titanfall? Nah, stop asking me questions because I'm not. That's the way I'm seeing it as. I'm not working on it now because we are currently working our asses off on Apex, which is in the Titanfall universe. So therefore, the team that understand, know, and write stuff and build stuff and design stuff for Titanfall are currently working on other things. It's not a never. It's just that, yeah, this is what we're working. But then people have taken that wording and bend it into a "fuck you, Titanfall," which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that guy's not being slapped for that either, because he's trying to interact and engage with fans, and then the company have come out and gone, actually, wow, yeah, we actually really love Titanfall. There's nothing there now, but we love it. We're never going to forget, kind of stuff. And hopefully that's just a. Yeah, do you know what? It happens sort of time, and hopefully he's not being slapped down for it. But yeah, it's a for me, storm in a teacup. Titanfall's not coming. They've said it before, not yet. They've said it before, fairly recently, 2019. We've had 2 years since then of a pandemic, so nothing much will have changed in that sort of time. There, you have to imagine. So yeah, no Titanfall 2021. Probably not 2022. Probably not 2023. I know people don't want to hear that. Maybe we're looking at 2024-ish before we're starting to get Titanfall, which kind of then starts to make sense for me. So, yeah, that's what I see. I'd say a few years at minimum before we get Titanfall back again, because everything's got to gear up again. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. If we get a Titanfall in 2022, feel free to tell me that Green Day, you were wrong, because I'd be happy to be wrong if people can get games they want. But I don't see it just yet. Enix says, look at my Twitter, which I did. I've just opened it up. So jumping back to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in FIFA. Look at that! What the hell? It's like a little old man.
I don't think he looks necessarily that bad.
I mean,
I've seen worse.
You can see it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but like when you saw Mourinho's face a couple of years ago when it was like, okay, he looks like the special one, and it just looks special. For some reason, he can't even look at the one from the back. Yeah, like he's got no neck. Like it's like someone's pushed his head down and his neck's gone into his body, kind of thing. Yeah. But then again, they're not spending that much time on the managers, are they really? So it's better than having just random faced man. You can tell it's supposed to be Ollie. So yeah. Also, United partnered with Pez, so let's just shit all over those. I mean, Mason Greenwood 78 rated. Are you taking the piss? But he can't even make it in the England squad. So what do we know? What do we know?
Just
Yes.
post a link in the chat there as well. Check that. That's fucking brilliant. That.
Oh, okay. Skip it back. Skip it back. Okay, this is a tweet from Chris Cregan that Bibby has just shared. Let me actually. I've gone full screen. How do I? No.
Well, under pressure.
There we go. So the tweet says, "Just seen why Steve Bruce is trending. That pace." I haven't seen this, so let's watch it together.
Well, under pressure, that's a very composed penalty, and over the course of the game, they just about deserved it.
Look at him legging it.
Composed penalty.
Just rolling back the years there, isn't it?
Just about deserved it.
Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. I mean, Steve Bruce loves to see it.
Well, under pressure, that's a very composed penalty, and over the course of the game, they just...
Let's see if I can pause it when he's got his mouth open. Yeah, there we go. Like, that is incredible. That is incredible. Look at it. I mean, to be fair, Steve Bruce actually looks really good with his face. I mean, look at how athletic he is. He's going for it. Good lad, Steve.
About deserved it.
99 pace took 30 years off him.
That's a great Steve Bruce circa 2001. Yeah, with not so much the pace though. Not so much the pace. I wish Roy Hodgson was still at Palace. That would have been amazing. Do you know? No, because I'm not having Roy doing anything but that gif, the one of him sat in the manager box at the Euros or the World Cup, or whatever, where he goes.
Yeah,
fucking
won't drive past McDonald's.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I mean, there's like three manager gifs that just resonate with me forever. There's that one. There's the Mick McCarthy one.
Oh yeah,
playing with two strikers, wingers, and then one in the hole. One in the hole, you say? That's sort of fucking beautiful. That one, and then the Alex Ferguson chasing the balloon, or the Alex Ferguson missing his bus one, where he gets up and he's like, no. Fucking wonderful.
How are we not talking about the Neil Warnock one where he's walking towards the camera like he's in a bit of Sweet Symphony video?
Good lad, Neil. Anyway, finishing off the show, let's jump back into the news. Don Peppiatt VG247 says Far Cry 6 trades ray tracing for 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox Series X. So ray tracing will only be available in Far Cry 6 on PC. Ubisoft has confirmed those next-gen consoles, baby. Ubisoft has confirmed that its upcoming open-world action game Far Cry 6 will not feature ray tracing on consoles, with only PC players getting the graphics option. In an interview with WCCF Tech, Ubisoft 3D team lead programmer Stephanie Brenham confirmed that the game wouldn't feature ray tracing on consoles, as the developer opted instead to prioritize 4K at 60 FPS on new consoles.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Taze Bad, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome into the stream. Jumping back to the article, ray tracing is a PC-only feature. That was a quote. Brenham told the site, quote, on console, our objective has been, not subjective, on console, our objective has been to take advantage of new hardware capabilities, optimizing performance, targeting 4K, and achieving 60 FPS, for instance, all while ensuring new game features like our dynamic weather system are supported on all platforms. As well as ray tracing, AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution feature is exclusive to the PC version of Far Cry 6 2. Over on Tech Radar, Ubisoft clarified the statement and noted that the decision would also made. Okay, I'm assuming that should be mean. I noted that the decision was also made so that the experience on the previous generation of console would remain consistent. That said, the new generation versions of the game will still have better HD textures, higher levels of detail, and longer draw distances compared to the PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, and Xbox One X versions of the game per Brenham. So that's something for new console owners, at least. The decision to keep ray tracing out of the console versions is an interesting choice, especially since we've seen other released and upcoming games feature ray tracing on PS5 and Xbox Series X to date. Dying Light, Metro Exodus 2, and Hitman 3 spring to mind immediately. Far Cry 6 arrives on October 7th for PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Stadia, and Amazon Luna. Yep, that's a thing still. You can read the preview in the link in the article. Nice. Say nice. 60 FPS is nice, but that console that you bought for the SSD and ray tracing doesn't have the ray tracing. Not in Far Cry 6 anyway. What are your thoughts, Pip?
Yeah, I think I think they've just gone for stability first of all. They've done it for PC, which is understandable because they have a lot more to work with, and the new gen consoles. I don't know how long they've had this at their disposal to be able to try and get it working, but they tried to give you the best experience they possibly can. So 4K 60, you wouldn't turn your nose up at that nowadays, would you?
No.
It's just the ray tracing stuff is obviously a little bit of a miss, but that doesn't mean to say that isn't going to come down the line. They're giving you the best experience that you could potentially have at launch. So it kind of feels like it's a non-story, but I know that there will be people out there that will be pissed because Far Cry might be the only game that they bought this console for, and they're not getting the best experience that they potentially could have had compared to people who are playing it on PC. But for the time being, you should never turn your nose up at 4K 60 this day and age. The ray tracing I can understand, but I can't say this is obviously going to get patched in at some point as well. So I don't see this as being a loss. I think this is a massive dub. They're giving you a working game straight off the bat, optimized for a good experience. If there was to put ray tracing in, it may end up dropping it down to 30 frames at 4K. Who knows? Like that's the experience could be completely broken. I don't see this as a bad thing. I think they're just trying to give you the best experience that you could potentially have as it stands.
See, this is one of those things that means something but doesn't mean something. Like we had the conversation. Was it on the Scoop or was it on something else the other day? Is what does next gen feel like? And people go, well, ray tracing, the way the light bounces and stuff like that. But you can get exceptional lighting effects that are predefined and not dynamically ray traced. So ray tracing is about tracing the rays of the light in a more natural way. But you can get things that look just as good as that. Like side by side, you won't be able to tell the difference. Obviously, it takes time to develop that. So ray tracing is good, and it does offer more depth, better lighting, resolutions, more reactive lighting. So we saw it with Lumen from the Unreal Engine tech demo that was last year or the year before, where the ceiling kind of caved in and you saw the light rays as the top of the cave caved in and you saw the rocks falling through the light. Exceptional stuff, all done on the fly, sort of stuff like that. It's there you go, KK. Good morning, Kate. Good afternoon,
Morning,
potentially.
Oh yes, afternoon. Oh yeah.
Good afternoon, dude, KK. Like he says, it's not a deal breaker. It's nice to have. It's something we all want because ray tracing. The thing with ray tracing, you're putting a name on an experience, and that's like a bell ringer for a lot of people. If you say better lighting, God, I want better lighting. If you say ray tracing is better lighting, people want ray tracing. So if you say it's not got ray tracing, well, it doesn't have the better lighting. Yeah, technically it doesn't. Technically, ray tracing is an advancement on the way that lighting is rendered within the game, but you can still, play Uncharted on the PS4, not even PS4 Pro or whatever. That game has some of the most incredible lighting you will have ever seen in some of the scenes, and that's not ray tracing. So, if you can get 4K, massive texture packs at 60 frames per second, so not only massive texture packs, but refreshing super fast for a console at least. Obviously, PC gamers are like, it's not all you've got, mate. But if you can get 4K 60 FPS with quality gameplay, quality graphics, then it's not the end of the world. It's something we want. It's something we would like to have, but it's a moniker that people will associate with having a better experience. So if you still have a great experience, and you just don't have the technology, then what does it matter? It doesn't matter what you call it, if it's ray traced or not. If it still looks and feels exceptional, then you've enjoyed it. So yeah, as long as the game's good, yeah, we're not bothered. Or we're not bothered.
Yeah.
You might be. But if it looks like a sack of shit, then yeah, fair enough. So Ubisoft, just don't make it look like a sack of shit. Thank you, Rich. Where do we get to? Ray tracing will be a future DLC character. Kappa says Magic. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Ray tracing. No points of ray tracing without DLSS. Exactly. Next gen feels like as if you're pulling back on a bow. Yeah, or like walking across dry and wet sand, so you can feel the changing of the textures. But no, definitely the bow. Definitely the bow. If anyone doesn't know what that is, by the way, that's one of our memes on the PS5 controller. The haptic feedback. It's like pulling back on a bow. You read an article on the haptic feedback. That's what the journalist is putting in, 100%. Metro is a good example of how ray tracing is best implemented. It doesn't have to be constant reflections. Yeah, and even then though, like you don't necessarily need ray tracing. You will see a lot of pictures. I remember when it was like RTX on was a big thing for like Nvidia's graphic cards. RTX on, and you see in the pictures and you're like, okay, side by side. That's definitely a better image. But you take off the ray tracing image, and I'm seeing what looks like an exceptional image of a PC game. So does it matter that much? I mean, I want it to be better. But yeah, it is what it is. GI equals global illumination. Yeah, well, there you go. Put that stuff in. But yeah, Far Cry 6 trades ray tracing for 60 FPS on PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's a shame, but it's not a shame. If it plays just as good, then it doesn't matter. That's all we need to know. Okay, let me run through the stories because we are done for the day. Let's tell you what we spoke about. Apple has been blacklisted by... Apple has blacklisted Fortnite, you should have said. Fortnite has been blacklisted by Apple. Until the legal battle that it has with Epic is completed. So it could be a case of Fortnite is not back on your phone, not on your iPhone at least, not for 5 years. Hopefully it's sorted out before then, but it could be a long, drawn-out affair. Something that's not long and drawn-out, though, is a Nintendo Direct. Only 40 minutes, and there is one tonight, 11 p.m. UK time. Do feel free to watch that live on Twitch, or join us tomorrow for the scoop, as we will give you the wrap-up of everything that is mentioned in that. Elsewhere, Titanfall fans... Don't worry, you may not be getting a new Titanfall anytime soon, but Respawn says that there is some hope as Titanfall is the core of the DNA of the studio. So there will be one soon. I've said 2024. Fight me. That's what I'm saying. And then finally, Far Cry 6, as you've just said, doesn't have ray tracing on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, but it runs at 4K 60 FPS and looks shit hot. So does it matter? Does it really matter? No. Cake says, why is Bibby stroking his beard with a Garibaldi?
Yeah. Gary's not bald.
To be fair, I don't know. Gary's always wearing a hat. And he's got a good taste in hats, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
He's got a good taste in hats. So, yeah, there you go. Is Gary a baldy? Hashtag, we've got hashtag Garlic Clark. Can we get hashtag an exclamation mark Garlic Clark and exclamation mark Gary Baldy now? So there you go. Thank you for joining us for the stream today. We have one more episode of The Scoop left this week. That is tomorrow. This afternoon, though, we'll be playing games. I'm going to be playing games. Are you around for games, babe?
Depends on what you're playing.
PUBG.
I might have to wash my hair or wash my beard or something. We'll see.
PUBG.
Who knows?
PUBG.
I might jump into one.
Yeah, new season pass, yeah, baby. So yeah, do feel free to join us for some PUBG. I'm gonna play. I could be jumping on like within 15 minutes, depending on what my email inbox looks like as we finish up the scoop. So it might not be 15 minutes, it might be a little bit later. But the best thing to do is drop a follow on the channel, just like Stigfish and Tazebad have done in the last half an hour, because that way you get notified whenever we go live. Whether it's 15 minutes from now, whether it's an hour from now, you will get the notification. So make sure you drop the follow. Before we disappear and come back and maybe, stroke Gary Baldies across other parts of our bodies or play PUBG, is there anything else that you'd like to add, Mr. Bib?
Yeah, Jordan just said he's going to have a poo and then he can come on, so I'm going to leave it. If Jordan's playing, I'm going to leave it.
Actually, did I say PUBG? I meant, what games don't you have, Jordan? Just check it.
But yeah, again, thank you very much for joining us for the episode of The Scoop today. We still have one more episode to go. So if you want to help shape that show, there is two ways you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, then go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there for you. But all we need from you is URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow? Mr. Graham Day.
Like every day, that'll be at 10 a.m.
Ish.
Meet.
Yeah. We will be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow-ish with the scoop. Probably not 10 a.m. If we're being realistic, it's going to be more like half 10, quarter to 11, 11 o'clock, half 11, 12-ish. You know, whatever. We'll see you, though, live, twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And we'll see you live in the next 15 to 60 minutes, somewhere in that sort of ballpark, with some PUBG, PS5, PS4, Xbox, whatever, console PUBG. So if you do have the game you want to jump in, like Jordan's just said, then yeah, join us. Until then, have a good day. And remember... Stay frosty.
Stay frosty.